Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And oh, the irony. The German government is about to subsidise German industry by up to 80% for its power bills. This is because the Germans have voted for morons and put morons in charge. And these morons have closed down the coal fields and have closed down the nuclear power industry and made Germany entirely reliant on green energy. Oh, and on Russian gas. That was a wise move, wasn't it? Well, now the energy price has gone up so high, German industry is struggling. It cannot pay the bills. It's closing down factories. It's going on 3-day weeks. And so, in their infinite wisdom, the German government said, we are going to subsidise your energy bills by up to 80%. This is madness. First of all, it's a lot of money, and so the German taxpayer will have to pay even more tax. And secondly, it flies in the face of the very process by which they close these oil fields, close the nuclear power station, close the coal, because you're subsidising these factories by up to 80% of their power bills. They've got no reason to make anything greener or slow down. They'll just increase production while it's cheap. And so they'll make a lot more money as paid for by the taxpayer. So the rich people who own these companies will get richer because the taxpayer is paying their energy bills. And it goes and flies against all the climate change because there's no reason for them to slow down or reduce production and things like that. And so more will be used, more stuff will be dug out of the ground to fill these factories with raw materials. It's madness. But then when you vote morons into power, they make moronic decisions like closing nuclear power stations, which are, from a green point of view, the greenest of all green energy. They don't produce any carbon dioxide. But you know what the Greens are like. They have an IQ at room temperature. Anyway, we'll have a look at this article and see why the Germans are utterly moronic. So, green bailout. German government looks to subsidise up to 80% of the energy costs for industry. Now, that is a lot of money. We're talking billions upon billions of euros. The German economy must take the hit, must pay for that. So that means ultimately the taxpayer, which means the German people will be paying for this. And I hope they're prepared to do it. I hope as they see their tax bill increase significantly at a time when it's hard enough to make ends meet, that they'll look at it and go, well, it is a price worth paying, closing down all that cheap energy for the sake of virtue and making no difference to the world whatsoever. Germany could close down entirely tomorrow and it would make zero difference because China is still building coal-powered fire stations or coal-fired power stations. So it makes no odds anyway, does it? Anyway, German Vice-Chancellor and Green Party politician Robert Habeck has proposed a scheme that would see the government subsidise up to 80% of the electricity costs of certain industries. We're talking the car industry here, aren't we? They're the big ones. And the electronic, home electronic goods stuff, washing machines, Miele and all that. Anyway, this is amid the ongoing energy crisis induced by decades of failed green agenda policies and over-reliance on Russian gas. And I do remember Trump laughing at them and saying, it's a really bad idea, guys, don't do it. And then they laughed back and said, no, we know what we're doing. And then, well, the rest is history. Minister for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, Robert Habeck, has proposed a plan that would guarantee large swathes of German industry electricity prices at a subsidised price of 0.06 per kilowatt hour, at least until 2030. Currently, the average electricity cost for business in Germany stands at around 25 euro cents per kilowatt hour, including taxes. If we had it that cheap in this country, I would be very happy. According to Deutsche Welle, the plan would mean that certain industries would see up to 80% of their energy costs subsidised by the taxpayer, who'd be on the hook for an estimated 25 and 30 billion euros a year. However, this figure could rise, of course, depending on the international price of energy, which can be heavily influenced by world events, as the Germans learned following the invasion of Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, they relied on on Russian gas. So because they're fine, there's plenty of Russian gas. We've got good terms with the Russians. Oh, blah, 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 blah. We don't need this. We'll close down our coal fields. We'll shut down all our nuclear energy provision. We'll rely on sunshine and wind and unicorn farts and all the gas that the nice Mr. Putin is going to send us. Oh, fuck. And that's it. And so the price of gas got up in Germany. Germany is gas and generally energy poor now. It can't generate enough. It has to bring it in. It used to be self-sufficient. But hey, that was back in the good old days when they didn't vote in morons. Energy policy. I would suggest that energy policy, especially for Britain needs to do this. It needs to make energy policy a matter of national security. We have got about an estimated 20,000 years of coal under this country. We've got an estimated 3,000 years of shale gas. We need to put that on a national security footing, along with shipbuilding, steel production. These things need to come into government control because they are national security issues. And do that, and then nobody can tell us what we should do with our energy, and we would have enough energy for the rest of time. I mean, literally 20,000 years of coal, that would do us nicely. Anyway, the proposal from Habeck may face some opposition, with the so-called traffic light coalition government of Chancellor Olaf Scholz becoming increasingly divided on economic matters. Indeed, one of the main partners of the coalition and current finance minister, Christian Lindner, is the pro-free market Free Democratic Party, expressed his opposition to extremely expensive subsidies. In other words, no, if they want to do this, they pay for it. If the German car industry can't afford to build cars because of the energy price, then they're going to have to stop building cars. He said that it was inefficient as well as unfair. Why are you propping up one industry and not the other industry? If you're going to do it, you lower the price of energy for everyone in a fair way. You don't just pick the industries you like or that you think are important. Anyway, meanwhile, a spokesman for Chancellor Scholz said that he believed in electricity prices that industry and consumers can afford without there being permanently subsidises, adding, we now have to discuss exactly how to get them. And I can answer that very, very easy. Germany, reopen your coal fields, open up your coal-fired power stations, throw a little nugget of coal in the fire, start up the turbines, and hey presto, you've got energy. Also, take your nuclear energy plants out of mothballs, kickstart them, and you've got even more energy. And all of it cheap, and none of it paying Putin for his gas. You morons. Anyway, I shall round off. Come up. Germany is a prime example of what happens when virtue and people who think they're doing good are given power. Because these people who tend to be on the wokey left, the woke wankerati really, they think, oh, look at me, aren't we great? We're doing this and we're going that. But they're all actually room temperature IQ. They don't see the consequences of the things they do. Yeah, sure, if you want a clean energy policy, that's fine, and you develop one. But you develop one and you phase it in, and for every kilowatt hour you produce clean, you lose 1 kilowatt hour dirty. What you can't do is say, right, we'll close all these coal-fired downs, we'll close all the nukes down, and then we'll say, right, let's find a solution. Because in the meantime, people freeze and your industry crumbles. And that's exactly what has happened. But that is because morons are allowed to hold the levers of power. But I can only blame one person, the German. Your average German has voted these morons in time and time again. And old Fritz and Helga sitting there wondering why their wages are so heavily taxed, why their house is cold, and why they can't afford to buy any food, are going to go, well, surely we voted for the right people. But no you didn't. You morons. You keep voting for the Greens and then wonder why you get poor, cold and can't afford food. It's because you keep voting for the Greens. And as Einstein said, to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results is a sign of madness. Germany, grow up, kick the Greens out, and for God's sake, vote someone in who knows what the hell they're doing. Anyway, I shall finish there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, but definitely leave a like. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't close your coal fields down, and goodbye.